Hello there, and great of you to join me. I'm Sheena Akagar from the Blue Ocean Studios in Beijing, and you're watching our show, Culture Outlook. Welcome. Now, being China's capital city, Beijing is a thriving metropolis. There are literally tons of things to do here, from sightseeing, shopping, and of course, eating and drinking. Beijing is home to hundreds of international restaurants serving all types of cuisine, from Japanese, French, Moroccan, and even Mexican. And when it comes to tacos, guacamole, and great margaritas, no place does it better than Taco Bar.
If there's one thing I know, it's Mexican food. If there's one thing I don't know, it's Beijing. And then I discovered Taco Bar. Why Mexican?
Something I grew up with. I mean, the whole idea from the beginning was to come here to learn more about Asian cuisine, which is what I grew up on, and then bring that to the States in its true form. And I saw the opportunity to bring another part of my childhood, which was growing up in a Mexican neighborhood and eating Mexican food, and bringing that in somewhat of a pure form to Beijing.
How is the Chinese culture embracing Mexican?
I don't know. I hope well.
Well, you're still open.
Yeah. So, when I made this place, I didn't want to, make it a Beijing landmark. I was making the place just for myself, and it would just be a place that I would genuinely want to go to and be a patron of.
Okay, so what do we got here? Obviously, your traditional.
The classic chips that we fry to order. We've got our guacamole that's mashed to order.
Black beans,
braised black beans.
Your take on pico de gallo?
Pico de gallo and salsa kind of mixed together.
And cheese whiz.
This is, yeah. This was like movie theater, like 7-Eleven.
Tell me you're kidding. Please tell me you're kidding.
That really was my inspiration, because I mean, what do you do after middle school? You go to 7-Eleven and then you buzz on it and you get a Slurpee.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
So
you can tell me that this is, your 7-Eleven coming out of a movie theater.
Just queso and chorizo.
You can really lie to my face like that, can't you? That is so good.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Thank you.
Seriously, what is it?
It's a bechamel base. Coming from my French background of cooking when I started off, and
Whoa, there's some spice coming through.
Yeah. So kind of Asian 7-Eleven, I guess. This is the guacamole. It's got grape tomatoes, onions, and cilantro.
Most people do the guacamole very smooth. You've got really big chunks going on in here.
Well, we do it old school, mortar and pestle, and everything's very rustic. And that's the big thing for me is I love blemishes. I love how it's not perfect. When the place is full, it's amazing. I mean, that's why a lot of us do it. That's why a lot of us cook. That's why a lot of us serve. It's the rush, and it's the instant gratification. I just walk in and see expressions and lots of tequila shots, and I think that's kind of the way people thank me is through shots of tequila. So I've been thanked a lot, which is good and bad. This I loved because you actually, the way they serve this in Mexico is in a styrofoam cup. And they serve it out of an igloo, and they just throw this hot corn in there, and then they top it with mayonnaise, sour cream, cheese. So this is the side of Mexico of the dairy that I really appreciate.
So I am getting some dairy here, right? There is some dairy.
This is a different part of the Mexican cuisine. Let me grab you a spoon.
You're giving me a fork. I was just going to ask you, does everything go on a chip here? Or?
No. So I'd recommend squeezing the lime first.
Your chips are so good.
And then just give it a mix.
Okay. We're just gonna get into that. Oh, hot. Perfect. A little bit of lime on there.
Yep.
You'd really never consider just something, oh, okay, there's spice. Wow.
So what was that? Yeah.
Okay, what was I gonna say? Oh, I was gonna say I need a drink. Where did that come from?
You know, it's
awesome.
yeah. I gotta say,
love that. Wow.
the peppers here really have their own personality. Sometimes they're just mild and soft, and then sometimes they just come with a vengeance. So.
I could see myself showing up here with some friends and not leaving for 3 days.
Hopefully one day we'll get there.
This is just fun.
Thanks.
I get the dish. I've never had just corn with spice and parsley and the cheese and the dairy that's mixed in there. But where did that come from? I've never had that before. I'm having it here in Beijing. Where did that come from?
Again, Mexico City. I've been walking around doing research for tacos, and some dude with some sign I could barely understand. I just said it's a corn, and then all of a sudden I'm walking around with a, looks like an ice cream cup, but it's filled with corn and cheese and sour cream.
Awesome.
All right.
More cocktails.
More cocktails.
All about the cocktails. What is that?
This one is our Mexican iced tea.
Yes, so not iced tea. So much better. All right, what do I got here?
So this one is our most popular. We are called the Taco Bar. So what you've got here is one of our lengua, which is the braised beef tongue. And then in the middle, you've got the pescado, which is fried tilapia. And then on the right is the carnitas, which is the braised pork.
All right, which one's your favorite?
Depends on my mood. Depends on how much I'm drinking.
What are you feeling right now?
But I would say the carnitas are probably my favorite, for sure.
Okay, does it ever end?
And here is the summer's grilled vegetable salad.
I'm just gonna break into this right now. Your favorite? Let's give that a go, but clearly I gotta get going before I run out of room on this table. And there's nothing like a great taco. I'm Jody Ness, making a pig of myself.
Moving on to yet another great Chinese city, Shanghai. Having the highest population of expats, you can expect to find all kinds of Western restaurants and bars in this city. And in fact, it was a Shanghai bar that won last year's Interior Design Award for the best design bar in the whole world. That's right, a bar called Logan's Punch took home the prize. Modeled after the city's old urban housing, Logan's Punch takes you right back to Shanghai in the 19th century. And if its stunning designs wasn't enough, the place also has all kinds of killer cocktails and punch bowls to satisfy any craving.
We're hanging out at Logan's Punch in Shanghai. This place is, man, a bit of everything. It's old, it's new, it's retro. It really is the resurgence of cocktails. Drinking in a place like this brings it all back. You've got the old stars, you've got the new stars, you've got this real retro feeling like this place has been here forever. It's still fairly new. Most people are thinking right now, cocktails, very Western. Not so. We're in Shanghai again. Remind you of that. Yet the cocktail scene, alive and well, and everybody's getting in on it.
My name is Logan Browse. My role here is general manager, owner, operator. The cocktail culture in Shanghai is very cool. I've been here for 5 years, and 5 years ago, I was one of 2 American foreigner bartenders. Now there's a whole dearth of bartenders from foreign countries.
Logan's Punch, is this a place that I really want to come by myself and meet people and really discover what's going on in Shanghai? Or is this a really kind of place that I want to come with my friends and just hang out and chill?
I think the nice thing about being a kind of smaller bar is you see that once you start drinking, everybody starts talking. Maybe you come here as a stranger, you leave here as a friend. And that's our kind of goal, you know? Even if you don't know anybody else when you come to this bar, at least you leave knowing me. So Logan's Punch is a basic idea, it's a punch bar. But what is a punch bar in China was something people didn't know about. So we came up from the custom of hot pot. Hot pot is this really ancient Chinese traditional communal way of eating. You have a big pot of boiling water or oil, you dip in meats, it's almost like a Chinese style fondue. And so what we thought was punch was the perfect way. Nobody had really been doing it before. We thought everybody's gonna be communal, they're gonna wanna drink already, and they know the process. Instead of putting food in, you're taking booze out. And so that's where we came up with the idea of punch bar for Shanghai. The idea here at Logan's Punch for the rooms is our little slice of Chinese back alley. What we wanted to do was basically have this thing where you're walking down one of our alleyways and you see a cut into every little room. So every little room has a different personality. There's a whole general concept, but every little room is more individual. Then you have a main bar, which is just more sparkly and more like westernized, versus the older style of the smaller guest rooms that we have. Was that real? Or was that a hallucination? And that's what we want at a bar, you know? It's safe, it's fun, but it's just a little bit over that edge where you don't know what's gonna happen.
Would this work in Beijing? Would this work in Hong Kong?
It already has worked in Hong Kong 100 times over. Hong Kong is, you know, a former British colony. They've known this since day one. Beijing and Shanghai were kind of linked. Beijing has a little bit of a different style of bartending. They sell really high-end cocktail bars. They're still really cool places. But Shanghai, because it's so big, for some reason it got overlooked for a long time.
Let's face it, when it comes to Asia, it's not exactly forward-thinking in a cocktail scene. They're very traditional.
Yeah.
So how's everybody getting in on this?
Social media is a huge thing. It plays on it because people start saying, oh, this is cool, I want to try that. My bartender should tell me about this cocktail. Oh, this is a speakeasy. And this cool thing in Shanghai, there's like, we're not a speakeasy bar per se, but there's a ton of speakeasy bar. Like you have to open up a hidden Coke machine to go into these type of bars. So it's really like this whole culture is coming up and people are like, oh, this is this new thing that we've never tried before. I think that's been a big bonus to our popularity. A lot of people just haven't seen something like this. I mean, we're really high end, but at the same time, we don't take ourselves too serious.
What are some of the really happening cocktails right now?
All the classic cocktails are really in focus. You know, you have your old fashions, you have your Vespers. Like the drink I have here is basically a kind of a take on a caipirinha. We call it a tie me up. So it's lemongrass syrup, coconut water, fresh pineapple juice, and cachaça. So make it look just a little bit different than people know. Like people know a caipirinha, people know a mint julep. We take it and try to flip it on its head. So we were very lucky this year to win the Interior Design Award for the best design bar in the world. We actually had some really strong competition from some bars in Manhattan, but we won out with our unique design and our unique take on a Shanghai style bar. So we wanted to go for this older style look. And so some of the stuff that we did that I found out was really difficult was to take new stuff and make it look old. So some of our walls were painted bright green, and then we actually had guys hand chip everything over a course of like 2 or 3 days to give it this old look, lived-in look. So it's one of those things where it's got a lot of weird history because it's so old but yet so new, because we just did this huge renovation here, you know. We're very fortunate there's 8 other bars and restaurants in this little area, so it's a little powerhouse of a plaza. It's a discovery. Then once you discover, you're like, oh cool, I have to tell other people because I'm the cool one that found it first.
This is all very cool, and it's also very retro. When we think about that, it's sort of the Frank Sinatra days, the Rat Pack,
Yeah.
jazz, whatnot. How does that all tie back together for people to be really interested in it?
I want it to be something that you go into, you instantly feel comfortable, and that's what a bar should feel. Instantly you feel comfortable at a bar.
We've been through the 80s, we've been through the 90s. Now we're sort of going retro right back to what used to be, but with really unique twists on it. Where do we have to go from here?
To the future. The classics are very good as building blocks, but just like philosophy or history or art, you always want to be able to fall back on those originals, those classic things. You want Rembrandts, but you also want like Bastille. You want some really new blood that coming in and it's going, okay, this is how we do it from now. In a new school of cocktails. Now you need another level to go up. And it's happening in China, it's happening in the US, it's happening in London, it's happening everywhere. We're very fortunate to be in that cusp of the new generation of cocktails.
How am I going to find Logan's Punch?
The best thing is the internet, Facebook, social media. I mean, they're really our bread and butter, especially for foreign travelers, you know.
Sometimes the greatest cocktail scenes, you're not going to find them in a magazine. It's more on the speakeasy side. This place is a hidden gem. You got to know where it is. I'm Jody Ness, talking to you from Logan's Punch, Shanghai. Cheers.
And that wraps up our time here today. For more information and videos, you can go to our website at www.bon.tv. I'm Shina Kaga in Beijing, and thanks for watching Culture Outlook.